hope you are well today. I'm going to give a talk about how can we generate add-ons directly from UML diagram. All right, my name is Ahkmad Daniel Sembiring. You can call me Ahkmad, you can call me Daniel, or Sembiring as well. I am from Indonesia. Close from here, only 24 hours, I think, flight. I'm working for Odoo implementation projects since 2011. It was version 6, I think. I'm also an instructor at Udemy, if you know, and also write some books, ebooks, especially for Google Play, and CEO and founder for my company, training.com. Okay, thanks to advanced Odoo framework, we can extend Odoo functionality easily, right, by just creating something called add-ons to enhance the functionality and the features of Odoo. Okay. And then as a business and database application, before we go to develop the add-ons, of course we have to write some modeling, the relationship between the table and so on, using tools like ER diagram or UML diagram, the most popular one, right? And then there are many tools that we can use to draw and to model our application. One of it is StarUML. You can check that using the link, the StarUML IO. But I'm not affiliated with these things, this company, but it's cool, so I select to choose that tool right now. It is a free available modeling software. The most cool thing that we can get here is that it can generate coding directly from the diagram that we draw. It can generate coding to Java, PHP, Python code, and so on. And then here in this company we create an extension of that StarUML software that are able to create Odoo add-on completely. A folder that contains all of the files required as a complete Odoo add-on. Consists of Python file, XML file, manifest, and so on. And the most important thing is that it is error-free, right? If you know, when we miss some spaces in the Python file, then our add-on will not work at all, right? Just because of the missing spaces. And also missing bracket, opening and ending bracket on the XML file. That makes our whole system very hard to debug. So this is the tool that will make our life easier much more, right? Okay. How it works exactly? So when we have done the modeling inside the UML diagram, especially the class diagram, we don't use all set of UML diagram here because we have a use case, we have a sequential diagram, and so on. Here we only use the class diagram, right, and the relationship between those classes. The tools will loop every entities that are inside this diagram, whether it is class, the relationship between those class, and then the type of the ending arrow here. It will be converted into the valid Odoo syntax, right? And then it will create the Python classes, the XML views, the key web report, the security access file, the group definition, and the manifest and of course the init file to be recognized as a valid Odoo add-on. Alright, and then we will create two folders for these generated add-ons, which I will explain it later why. And then of course you can also check the coding of this particular extension on my GitHub here. Okay, so what's generated? What's generated by these tools? The fields that we are required, that is required by Odoo, like char field, date time, date field, integer, float, and so on and so on, as well as the relational field like many to one, one to many, many to many, the selection field, and so on. I will try to explain that on a demo later. So basically, this is what is generated by these tools, including the XML, XML for the particular class, XML for the inherited models from Odoo, like REST partner, REST user, currency, account, and so on. Also the buttons on the XML already generated as well, the icon, application groups, and so on. Okay, the first thing that we have to follow to draw our diagram correctly and be able to be exported later to valid Odoo add-ons is some kind of like a convention. We have to follow this convention so that our diagram is treated correctly later when we export to code. The first thing is the naming of the class, like this. It should be, it should have something called namespace, so that our class will not conflict with other add-on. And then the name itself, of course, it is the name of the entity, the class entity. And then when it is inheritance from other Odoo existing model, any Odoo existing model, we can inherit it from at our diagram using the attribute here, the class attribute called underscore name, which is the equal to the Odoo name, Odoo class name, and then the underscore inherit, also the Odoo class name, which is the external ID of the class name, right? And then other attributes that we want to add to this inherited class, like in this example, is it an instructor? Is it and it is a Boolean? Other field that we want to add to that inherited class, and then other normal field should be treated like this. So we type the attribute name or the field name, and then colon, and then the type of the field, which is should be a valid Odoo fields, like we do in the normal case, in the normal coding, the char and the integer, the float, and so on, including the case. It should be a valid case sensitive as we do in normal coding. Okay, but for the relational field, we do not put that on the class itself, but rather we have to write down or to draw a line between those classes, right? So this one is for example, and the most important thing is that when this class has one-to-many relation to other class, then the ending arrow for this class should be the one with diamond. Right? So this one is the one-to-many, and the other side, the other opposite, is the many-to-one. So this is the convention that we must follow. It is actually the same as the normal UML diagramming convention. And then the next one is specific to these tools. For example, we want to add other field attributes according to the Odoo specification. How can we do that? We just put on this field and then go to the documentation box here. I will try to demonstrate this later after this. And when we type, and then we type a JSON format, a key value format, that is actually the actual Odoo attributes, Odoo field attribute that will be translated or converted into the actual coding letter to the Python file, right? And when we want to put those attributes to the XML file, we simply put this this prefix, the XML underscore prefix, to the attributes that we want to put that on the XML. For example, domain. For example, the invisible, right? Those things are valid on the XML. So we want to put, we have to put the XML underscore prefix to those attributes. Okay, let us see that later. Or maybe I will switch back from the presentation to the actual diagram, right? So we can save the time later. Okay, here is the sample of the diagram that we have prepared for this demonstration. So for example, I draw a class diagram, which is simply by dragging this this class diagram and then put it here, right, to create a new class on the diagram. But right now I have done that, so I will delete this one. Okay, so this appraiser class, for example, is to store the main idea is to create an application to record an appraisal for employee, 360-degree evaluation for an employee, and then the value is stored in this appraisal table, right? And then we can see that I have put attribute name with type of chart and period start, date, evaluation date, and so on. And also the nodes, which is the HTML field. And then we are at the relational field or field attributes. Okay, so for example, here I put the relational information between the appraisal class and the employee class, which is a inherited class from the HR employee. Okay, the HR employee, we draw a line between those class like this, and then at the many to one side here, many to one side, we can define more information for this field. So when we draw a many to one relation between two classes, we can name the ending of this arrow that will be treated as field later, many to one field in this case, later when we convert. And we can put some additional information here, which is actually the field attribute that will be converted to Python or XML class, XML file. For example, I put help here. This help will be appended to this field definition, right? And then when we put XML domain, for example, here, which is a valid domain syntax here, job ID is I like manager, but this attribute will be sent to the XML file for this appraisal class, not in the Python file. So that is the idea. And then next, one-to-many field attribute. For example, when we have one-to-many like this, This one is one-to-many, one-to-many. So the appraisal class has a relation to deduction, for example, to deduct the final result of the appraisal. Here we can add more additional field, additional JSON format actually, which is 3 editable button that will treat this one-to-many tree later and add the 3 attributes to editable equal to button, so that it will not pop up when we add new line, right? If you can imagine that. Okay, it will show like this. So it will not pop up something, and we can type it directly to the table. And then the next thing is that we can put CSV data content for a class for our default data for a class. For example, the master data and the static data, right? We can put that also in the documentation section. For example, this evaluation criteria is actually a list of selection that is by default inserted to the table, and then later we can put more data on inside that. But when we install the add-on, this master data is automatically inserted, and then it will be converted to CSV files like this. Okay, and then the selection field, for example, for selection field, it is actually simple. Just put the type selection, the field type as selection, and then at the documentation or the default value, we put the values for the selection, just like the normal Odoo syntax, which is the tuples, a list of tuples which contain the value and then the label, right? So this is the value and then this is the label. Okay, that is the selection field. Kanban view, it also convert or generate the Kanban view for all of the classes. And if we want to put image on the Kanban view, just put image field or image small, which is a binary type field, and then it will be treated as Kanban image on the left side of the Kanban. And then the graph view, and then the calendar view, if we have a date or date time field on our class, it will automatically generate the calendar view. Okay, and then if we want to put class method, the functions that will be generated later or detailed later, the logic, but the name is typed here, then we can put those methods below here, which is by adding this icon, add operation. And the section below is actually the method. The section above this is actually the field, and then this one is the method. Okay, just type the method name, and then if it is just a simple method definition, we can put the logic down here on the specification. For example, any valid Python code can be put here in the specification. But the convention is that when we name the method like this, action underscore invite something, action calculate score, then this method is also treated as the action buttons. And at the XML, the generator will generate the buttons called invite something here on the XML. And then when it is clicked, then this method is automatically called by the button. And then the next important thing is that we can create a compute field directly here. Compute, you know. For example, this field total something. Bobot is actually a weight, total weight. And then we put the compute is underscore compute totals, which is actually the operation or the method here, the private method that will be called when this field is computed. So this all total field is actually compute field. We can set it here up to the final grade. It is actually a compute field, and then the compute method definition is defined here. Right? So it will be called when we open the form or the tree calculating this field. Right? And then the next interesting thing is onChange. We can set the onChange method also in this diagram by specifying the field that is trigger the onChange method. So we have onChange employee here at this employee ID field, which is this one. So when this many to one field is changed by a user, then this method is called automatically by adding a decorator, right? Decorator onChange above this method. Okay. Right now, before continuing the slides, let's try to generate this diagram, right? So we can save some times. So let's try to convert this into Odoo add-on by doing this tools Odoo generate code. Okay. So by default, the application, the StarUML application, does not have these two menus. It's only contain up to Python, I think. But we create the extension for this application and install that on this application. Then the menu appears like this. Odoo generate code. Before that, we check the configuration. This is the namespace that our class will have, so that it will not conflict with other add-on that we might have in our database. So you can put anything here to represent your company abbreviation. For example, just type this, for example, and then close. That's it. And also the version. It supports version, I think 10 to 16. Maybe next week's 17. I have today. Okay. I hope so. We have to check the syntax next for the 17. But 16 is okay right now. Okay, and then we generate this by clicking the generate code. This diagram. Actually, we can have more than one diagram here to split the complexity of our application later. So this diagram is for this feature, and this diagram is for this feature, and we can draw all of those diagram in one file. So yeah, we don't have to move from other file to other file, and then we can select this diagram and then OK, and put that on the folder of our add-on folder directly. For example, this one. I simply delete this to make sure that this is a newly generated one under 16 add-ons OCA open. Okay, that's it. We can go to our editor under OCA 23, and then this is the generated add-on folder. We have two folders here. Right? This is the class definition. Let's check one by one. So we have model folder, which contains all of the classes that we have in the diagram, right? So we check to the appraisal py. This is what is generated. We don't have to type this manually again anymore. Okay. Right, we have come to this so far. So we have a onChange method, and then above that we have a decorator, which is to trigger the onChange on the employee ID field, which is actually the field that is a many-to-one relation to other class, right? This is the class definition. And then next we have come to onChange the action. Okay, the action is when we put something like this in the diagram, then we will have an empty method like this, ready to be inherited or define the logic by the programmer, right? So actually this tool is used by system analysts or business analysts to define or to model the application, and then you have to write down the detailed information about the content of the method, and then the developer will do the logic there later, right? So this one, so it is ready to be inherited on the other add-on. Okay, when we have the action underscore method like this, then we will have also the XML file. This is the XML file actually. We have the tree view, the pivot view, form, search view, Kanban view, calendar view, graph view, appraisal view, and then the last one is the menu for the application for this appraisal object. It saves much time, right? Rather than typing this manually or even using template from the editor. We come to form view, where we have the header section, right? And we have the action button, which will call our method automatically, and it has the string as we define in the action method, right? Okay, and then this one, this confirm, mark as done, reset to draft, is coming from this state field. So when we have a special field called state, which is a type selection, then our generator will translate that into workflow action button like this one. And of course we can inherit this one to match our workflow later, but the template is already there, and then the method is already there as well to change the state, only to change the state, right? From state 1 to state 2, state 3, and then back again to state 1, right? And then also when we have the state field, special state field, it will also inherit the create method for the class in order to get the sequence number automatically. So it assume that this class has state, and it will have the numbering, document numbering, that is also generated from this generator. Okay, let me speed up. Action, compute already, keyweb, or the last one is keyweb. So it will also generate the keyweb report for us, which is stored in the report this one. So we have the template for the report and then the menu for the report as well. And then we have pivot view. Pivot view is defined in the XML. This one, okay. This is the report. This is the view for the appraisal, which is like this. I have shown you before. Oh, this is the pivot. Okay, pivot definition for the class. Okay, and then the state field I have talked about this. And then the last one is the manifest. So of course it should generate I can share the slide if you want later. Yeah, so it's okay. So we have the manifest, of course, this one. This is the manifest, and it will automatically pull up our all of the CSV and the XML that is needed by this add-on. And also we can set any key for the manifest here, anything that is valid on the Odoo add-on. And also we have put some more some additional key for the manifest, which is it's stored here, which is the icon actually. Where is it? Okay, we can put the icon in the manifest file on the diagram, which is the actually the documentation for the diagram. It will be converted into the icon, the menu icon. Actually, can find it here. Okay, somewhere here, right? Somewhere here. Okay, the manifest, right? And then lastly, the menu. Of course, all of the classes should have a menu for user to be able to access that class. Let me show you the final result of this generated application. This one. So this is the one that is generated by our diagram previously. So this is the default setting for the XML, which is the normal field is located in the left side, and then the relational field is located on the right side. So it is configurable later on the inherited add-ons. And then this is the editable bottom action. If we do not put the this one is editable also. If we do not put the editable, then it will show a pop-up, right? Okay, that's all from me. Any questions? Thank you. Question?
In the documentation where you put JSON things,
yeah.
Do you validate that syntax?
Yes.
Same for Python.
No, it is internally. It is internally in this application. So if it is a non-valid JSON, then it will show some error. Yeah. So it is actually safe for us to put JSON there. Next, please.
Let's go to the beginning in the start. We have the Odoo object-oriented model. And then we're going to create star diagrams.
Which one?
Yeah, so we have the OO object-oriented model on Odoo. Everything is already defined. We're going to create star diagrams.
Yes.
With fact tables and dimensions. Dimensions are you create dimensions once and they don't change much. And the fact tables, they will change. Then what I see, you directory of table. I'm going to create in StarUML manually these tables or not? Or is there a way to import from the model to StarUML?
Yeah, that's a great idea. I think right now we do that manually. Manually. So we remember what is the employee name actually.
Okay.
But we can look at that in the Odoo source code, of course.
We do this manually. Then you have created this nice button, generate code.
Yeah.
That code will be generated. That will create the tables in the post SQL table.
Yes, of course.
It does.
Yes.
But it has no data.
Yeah. No problem. No problem.
It's a
so,
question. So you create the database structure.
Yes.
How does the data get from the employee database to the star model?
No connection between the actual table to the diagram.
So you have to do import export. You have to do import exports to the star model.
To Odoo actually, not to the diagram anymore. So the diagram is only for modeling our application,
Correct.
and then we install that in our database, Odoo.
Yeah, you have it in a database. And then how does the data get into the star model?
StarUML? No. When we have installed that generated add-on or generated application from StarUML, then we will have this menu automatically. And then where we can type or input the data directly here, or even import them from, which is actually Odoo default features here.
Oh yeah, okay, thank you.
Yeah. Odoo has that.
Here you import the data into the star model. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got the point. Thank you. Sure.
Is this only to create a new module, or is it practical to also maintain and improve the module? Like for instance, if someone wants to make an announcement in form of a commit, then you would have to put the changes back to the StarUML. So is it practical to maintain a module on the long term, or is it only to more quickly create a new module?
Yeah, basically we use this. The question is it possible to modify the existing module in Odoo, right?
Yes.
Or create a new application in Odoo. Okay. Yeah, basically this tool is more usable for creating a new features or a new application in on top of Odoo, right? Because it will create a new menu here, rather than, for example, adding existing field on the existing table, for example. It can be done as well. For example, our application is only to add some field on REST partner object. We use this tool. It's okay. So we draw a new class which is inherited from like this, new class which is inherited from REST partner, and then we put fields or attribute there on the REST partner object, and then we add new method there under this class, and then generate that add-on. That's okay. And then the add-on will add new features to only particular object of REST partner. That's okay.
Did I see correctly that you actually create two modules?
Yes.
One and then one
Yeah.
will inherit?
Yeah.
Can you explain that?
Yeah, a good question. So why we do create two folder, right? When we generated that. This is because this tool, the StarUML tool, right now cannot replace an existing folder or file to change something, right? For example, here we add new field, for example, post, for example, which is a float. Of course, we have to regenerate this one, right? We have to regenerate. That's how it works. We have to regenerate this diagram. And then it cannot replace the existing one. It will complain. So we have to delete this one and then regenerate. That's why we create this inherited folder to maintain our modification, our detailing of the logic, for example.
What happens to the data then?
No problem. The data is saved on Odoo database.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is only the, you know, the application.
Import again.
No,
No.
no, no.
Oh.
Right? So I think it solved the question. So when we have modification inside this inherited add-on, I can show you here. This is the inherited. So for example, I have put some detail logic here, anything. Of course, we don't want to erase this one, right? That's why we maintain that on the inherited. So the main add-on is actually the structure of our table. So when we generate this one, tools generate this one. Oh, this is the inherited, and then it will regenerate the add-on. This one. We have a brand new structure for our add-on, but not the thing that we have done in logic in detail. Okay. Any more?
So from Odoo perspective, this is two different add-ons.
Yes, two different add-ons. We have to install both of them.
Yeah, one is just the auto-generated that
Yes.
you can keep in sync, like it's bi-directional, it updates both ways, and one is for the doing the work.
Yes, correct. Yes.
Where we can get these features of generating the code, I read a little bit late, so maybe you explain.
Sorry, I didn't get.
I can take the application, the StarUML, but
Oh.
the new
The extension.
yeah,
Yeah, okay. Yeah, actually, the question is how can we get this extension generator, right? For the StarUML, you can easily download from the StarUML IO, download the latest version, and then get the extension that you may obtain from this GitHub link. But this one is the light version. Actually, only generate tree and form. The full version is now available in the Odoo application App Store. Actually,
To buy.
to purchase, to buy. Yeah.
Is it possible to do the inverse flow from an existing code of Odoo, generate the UML in the
Yeah.
StarUML?
Reverse engineering, maybe. Something like pulling out something from Odoo and then draw the diagram. Yeah, that's a cool idea. Can we reverse engineering Odoo application to show the diagram or to show the sequence diagram, for example? That is the next thing that we want to do. It's still in the idea, but it is a cool thing.
Okay,
Right now we cannot.
thank you. Last question.
Last question.
There is a tool called DB scheme that can take that can go not from Odoo but from the Odoo database into something similar.
Yeah, I think it is the same. The question is, can we pull out directly from DB and draw something here, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right now we cannot do that, but I think there are some guys that already create that, reading the whole database and then writing the documentation for the database in a table format, not the diagram format, I think. But I think there is some guy that create that as well, and then it create the diagram, the ER diagram actually, not the class diagram. So we can go from there, maybe. Empty? Okay. Thank you, everyone.